Anyway, so yeah, I'm Vincent, and today I will share the vision and the perspective we have at the IOC with esports. First, I really would love to start with our philosophy at the Olympics. What we want to do is building a better world through sports. So now, the job we have is try to transform that and apply these to esports, and how we can do the same thing by building a better world through esports, and how we can bring the best of the buzzwords from sports and esports together. This is really what we're really trying to do. This began with, I think, our Olympic agenda, 2020+5, that is a set of 15 recommendations that the IOC believes it will have a positive impact on the Olympic movement in the next coming years. This is our roadmap. This Olympic agenda, 2020+5, is our roadmap for the Olympic movement. And we have a recommendation that is the recommendation 9, that is this one. Encourage the development of virtual sports and further engage with the gaming community. So this is really what we're trying to do. With all the stakeholders, launching new products, experiences with international federations, with publishers, and all the stakeholders to be involved in that space with us. So we are also humble in that space. We will not be a governing body, will not be a regulatory in esports for now. What we're trying to do is just to find our place in that landscape. And this is what we're trying to draw some lines, to create some expertise and experience, but alongside all the stakeholders with respect, with ambition, but first with, I think, the humility we need to have in this space. Why we're going there? First, because also everyone is supporting that. We're seeing after a survey that 75% of people are supporting the integration of esports in the Olympic movement. We have seen a lot with the Commonwealth Games, with the Asian Games that are launching esports championship, and we're supporting these initiatives. What we need to do now is also for us to be involved in it. And we did with some few actions already. But the most important for us is to, again, bringing together the Olympic movement and the esports communities to collaborate on the future of this competition and this competitiveness. Because I think competition is at the heart of the Olympic Games through the IOC history. And I think at the IOC, we are hoping to introduce new competition format and new disciplines, as we see it with breaking coming for Paris 2024, with skateboarding in Tokyo and now in Paris 2024. So what we're trying to do is also finding a way by integrating these new ways of competing in the world with people. So we did it last year with this first Olympic virtual series. It was, for us, it was a pilot, it was a test, okay? It was a good start with 5 sports, only sports simulations or virtual sports, including cycling, sailing, baseball, motorsports, and rowing. So it was a good start with 250,000 people participants of the Olympic Virtual Series, over 100 countries. And this is also showing the strength of the Olympics and the symbol of the Olympics. We are talking with esports athletes and playing like games that are more famous than these ones. We also have the humility to say that these titles of virtual sports, we are encouraging and supporting the development of virtual sports to help international federations also to move forward with this space. But we're also humble to know that these are not the big ones. We are humble with that. So the idea for us is to try to develop that, but we're talking with also big esports athletes and representing their country, representing the flag of the nation, and this what we've seen at the Commonwealth Games, for example. It's something that counts a lot for them. They are getting emotional when the national anthem is going on, when they win a medal or win a prize in these games. So this for us is also a sign that we need to be there and we need to be involved, but by also strictly respect the Olympic values and what we have in our charter. So based on this success, we're really moving forward, and we're trying to aim to do more for a greater impact. Why? Because we have seen the development of virtual sports. A lot of people are now doing virtual sports. Even athletes are integrating virtual sport as part of their routine. For example, cyclists, even Formula One drivers are doing sim racing every day to train. Same for golf players, for ski athletes. They are all doing it. Why? Because it's easier to do it at home, and they can be part of the routine. Even in terms of education, for example, in sailing, Virtual Regatta is a game, mobile game, that is very famous in the sailing world. And they are now using it as a tool for young in education. Why? Because when the weather is bad, it's too windy, it's raining a lot, people are not going on the sea. The young people are not going on the sea to do sailing. So before Virtual Regatta and this kind of innovations, you were doing in front of a blackboard, you were working on the wind and learning like the theory of sailing. Now with this kind of innovation and virtual sports innovation, you can learn more in a way that is more entertaining. Because we also need to understand that esports is about competitive gaming, it's competition, but it's also entertainment. It's fun, it's emotions. And this is where also we can find a lot of synergies between sports and esports. And again, the idea for us is really to bring the best of the both worlds together and try to figure it out how we can work together, how we can create unique experiences. And this is really what we want to do with this new concept of the Olympic Esports Week. The Olympic Esports Week will be a unique event during 3-4 days, depending on the format, that will start in 2023. We announced publicly that we're in talks with Singapore to organize this first Olympic Esports Week. And we hope we will announce soon some great news. But this Olympic Esports Week will be a unique event that encompasses a competition around 10 virtual sports and sports simulations. And then you will have other exhibitions where we're working on trying to include and to be more inclusive and diverse and how we can integrate this kind of other titles that are non-part of the competition, but also maybe outside of our sports simulation games. We know that there is a lot of synergy. If we're taking a game that is very famous like Rocket League, you can have some synergies with sports for sure. You are looking at Rocket League as you are looking at sports. There is the same rules as football, and you can find some synergies. So this is why on our side we are also thinking about these games to be integrated, and because it's completely linked to our values. Same for some fighting games that could also work with some disciplines that we have in the Olympics. So how we can really create these bridges between sports and esports together to create new experiences. But this Olympic Esports Week will also be about entertainment and how we can acknowledge people to virtual sports and new disciplines. How we can do it? By creating a huge free-to-play zone, where the idea for us is to create a journey for the people, where they will enter into the Olympics through the technology and innovation. You will come and you can have an experience by doing a ski simulator, doing a golf simulator, enjoying sim racing, and doing other activities. And why we're doing this? Because we need to connect with the youth. We need to keep this contact with the young generation that is playing games. From Nielsen's studies indicates that now we have 2 billion of people in the world that are interested in playing games. So we cannot miss the opportunity. We should not miss this opportunity to connect with the youth. So this idea of this Olympic Esports Week is also about how we can create this kind of new products that will be a yearly event for us to connect with the youth. So this is, for us, a huge new product that will, we hope, help us to connect with the esports community, that will give us a new way by contacting with the youth. And again, for us, really the ambition is to make these bridges. building a better world through sports, being a better world through esports. And as we said after the pandemic and with our new tagline, it's about being stronger together and how we can be beneficial to each other. So yeah, we really hope that in the coming weeks, we will be able to announce something coming in Asia in 2023. And thank you for listening, and happy to chat if you have any questions. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. So, as Vincent said, if we want to make this interactive. If you've got any questions for Mr. IOC, please get them ready. And as I say for every session, if you ask a question, it doesn't mean you're stupid. It means you're getting involved. So Vincent, sounds exciting. The Olympic Esports Week might be coming to Singapore. What are the, regardless of where it is, anywhere, wherever it is in the world, what do you think are the main challenges to building something as new as this? Now, we had Paul Foster yesterday from the Global Esports Federation talking about what they just did at the Commonwealth Games in the UK, which looked like a huge success, to the point that I think they were concerned that it was going to be bigger than the actual games through eyeballs, because you got all these gamers watching. So what are the challenges you have in building an esports week?
I think first the challenge is to see that the sports world and the esports world are different structure. They are structured differently. You don't have governing bodies in esports that are regulating everything and owning some disciplines. I think you can identify publishers as governing body for esports. But we just first need to understand that and to make some education also and educate ourselves to that and be humble and respecting the community by entering in that space. So this is why we are discussing with all the stakeholders and considering all the people to understand what they are expected, what we expect and what they are expected, and then we can make this bridge and trying to discuss. This is one of the main challenges we have. Then the second one is also the level of maturity of some organizations, some international federations in that space. Everyone wants to connect with the youth. Everyone knows that esports and gaming at large, if we're taking like more mobile games and playing for fun, because I'm doing gaming at home when I'm playing. I'm not doing esports. So I think both sides are understood by everyone that is a huge opportunity for the people to connect with a new audience, but also to acknowledge people to their sports. And so one of the main challenge is to educate some international federations and help them and support the development of these areas for them.
So what are the opportunities? If you've got the challenges, what are the real opportunities? What's really exciting about the week?
First is a brand new thing. It will be the first ever. So this is really exciting, and the opportunities we have is we are seen as an innovation lab also for the IOC. Why? Because we are creating a new product, we are creating new experiences, we're trying to create a new space for the Olympic movement to demonstrate how they can attract the youth, how they can connect with people, how they can engage people, because we have a huge challenge also at the Olympic International Committee is about retaining people. We have events that are the biggest in the world, the first event in the world that is the Olympics. But in the flame-to-flame period, we also need to create opportunities to connect with the people and to keep the contact with them. So this is for us really unique in that terms. And it is also moving with I think the society and how we are following the trends. And we need to listen to the people, and we need to listen to the community, what they are expecting from us, and how we can then also build new revenue models and new opportunities for us to develop the content, the digitalization of the IOC, and the revenue stream we can create with.
So you're saying rather than it being every 4 years, it goes every day?
Yeah, exactly. The idea was this creation of the Olympic Sports Week in our unit that was created last March when I joined the IOC. The idea is really about how we can engage an always-on process with the people, with esports. How we can create content, how we can create experiences, products, events that will help us to create this long-term vision about how we can engage daily basis with people. And this is why also this Olympic Esports Week will be a yearly event. That is also something new, as Olympic Day is every year on the 23rd of June. For us, creating this pretty unique event every year is a huge opportunity for us to change also the mindset in the IOC about creating contact with people.
Maybe not an official question, and maybe more for a conversation in a bar, but I would have loved to have seen your first day walking into the IOC as the new virtual guy, whether people were going, who's he?
Yeah, some of them. I think it's normal. I think it's about introducing some changes. And when we are trying to also introducing something new, sometimes people are just pushing back. But this is normal. I think it's about education. It's about showing what esports is, what sports is, and what are the synergies and the differences, also showing that. But making education and also showing how esports can be also important for education, for social for good, and everything we can do for social inclusion, for education, for fighting against social isolation, fighting against social harassment, and how we can also help esports athletes, but also people to develop through esports by connecting with the Olympic movement.
I mean, we had conversations yesterday about the gaming industry being larger than music and movies combined. Could this be become bigger than the Olympics? You're not allowed to answer. You're not allowed to answer that, are you?
I think I will not answer this question that way. The idea for us is how we can bring this into the Olympics to make the Olympics bigger. This is the thing. But yeah, for sure, what we're seeing is the audiences are completely crazy. The teams are creating audiences and communities that are completely crazy. We have some point at some moment that people are thinking that there is some people in sports industry may be thinking that there is no esports community or esports communities at large, because we know that there is not just one community. But when we're seeing stadium full of people wearing jerseys of their teams and cheering and supporting their teams, we saw that there is a lot of synergies and how we can build something together, because there is a lot of emotions, passion around these sports, and this is what sports also is all about.
And there was something I saw. Sports Singapore supported the virtual games here, the virtual triathlon here, and I went along with the lowest expectations ever of thinking I was going to be watching people on bike machines and on treadmills. And it was some of the most fun I've had at an event, the way it was produced. Now that's more of a hybrid event where you've got the live and the screen and stuff, and it was brilliant.
Yeah, I think Super League Triathlon and what World Triathlon did with this new format of competition is amazing.
But could you see that ever coming into the Olympics?
We have some requests. This is part of the recommendation on how we can consider to add some virtual disciplines to the Olympic program. We had requests from World Triathlon, from the UCI Cycling Federation, and also from World Taekwondo. So this is on the table. We have not made any decision yet. I think the question is also for us that we also need to follow what it is all about gaming, and the timelines are very different. This is also why we're creating this yearly event, because we need to be adapted to this timeline in gaming industry. It's going so fast. A new game is going out every year. You're not creating a new sport every year or a new discipline every year. So we need to adapt to that. Sure. Because for Olympic Games, we need to make some calls 6 to 8 years in advance regarding sports, disciplines, events. So this is sometimes the need that we need to figure it out if we can do it that way. But for sure, these disciplines will be integrated into the Olympic Esports Week.
Do we have any questions for Vincent? Very fast. The lady who ran the virtual sports.
Hey, thanks, Jasper, for that recommendation. I think esports is an economic force. Esports is a social connector for the world and the youth. I'd like to, sorry, so I have to support Jasper because he utterly loved the Super League Triathlon. And it was a blast in Singapore, the Marina Bay. Thanks, Jasper. So we know that, look, I believe in e-sport, but I believe even more in physical sports. Well, that's a joke. Yeah, so I think esports is an economic force. And esports is a great social connector for the world and for the youth, and to help them believe in stronger, better, faster in the Olympic motto. So what I have a little bit of resolution is, we know that also there's the other thing about esport is, well, maybe perhaps bring away people from the actual thing, and esport could be in a certain sense taking away your time, and time is a commodity. So in your vision, how can esport really be a force for good? I'd like to understand that. Yeah, thank you.
I think we have different ways of esports going for good, to be honest. I think there is a lot. I can share some examples. In France, for example, they have the government in some region doing some esports classes after school in some zones where people are not going to school, or in hard neighbors where young kids are going out of school. But these esports classes, you can assist if you are here for the full day and going to class full day. And they have seen that people and young people are now going 40% more to school than before. This is just one example that can be applied for that. Because we need to see that esports is connecting people and also retaining people at some point. Same for, I think, the way of people are socializing. When you are playing a game, even if it's a team game, you are socializing with people when you are doing esports. When you are doing virtual sports, it's the same. For example, Zwift and cycling, you can go on the road with 100 other people on the same road and some race. So this is about how we can socialize with esports. And esports is a tool, and I know that it's more about education and understanding, with parents, helping parents also to understand why their young kids are doing games, playing games, and why they are doing this, and how they can use it as a leverage and as a tool to develop themselves, how to be also acknowledged to new sports and esports. Because, for example, when you are, I don't know, you are here in Singapore, you will never do ski if you were staying in Singapore, for example. But you can go maybe in a place where you have like ski simulators and you can be acknowledged to these sports and try something for fun. So I think this is also the strength of esports in virtual sports at large, is how it's connecting people and open the mindset of people to that. And then in terms of education, social for good, social isolation, I think it's fighting against that. Because we can also create new places where people have no internet access, for example. No access to the technology, or they don't have any access to computers, consoles, or whatever it is. And we can create this place and get these people in. And also then creating sports activity around, create some classes around, and how we can use it as a tool to unify people. And again, it's about building a better world through sports, building a better world through esports, and virtual sport for us is really the philosophy that we're trying to conduct.
Oh, brilliant answer. Look, she's smiling. So we're pretty much out of time, but you did say that for the Olympic sports, esports week, it wouldn't be traditional, it would be traditional esports games. So what kind of games are you looking at?
I think for the traditional esports games, it will be in the exhibition side. Now we need to focus on the competition and the sports simulation. This will also encompass a lot. That could be chess, for example, because chess is a federation that is recognized by the IOC in the Olympic movement. And when we're looking at some numbers from virtual chess, it's insane. Chess.com is driving 25 million people every month on the platforms playing chess. So this is something completely crazy. But this will be also sim racing, as we did with Gran Turismo and Motorsport, that is driving a lot of audiences, and it's more entertaining at some traditional esports. But then in the exhibition, our role is really trying to be more inclusive and diverse. And I mentioned Rocket League. Rocket League is the perfect example for us. We have seen also at the Intel World Open or the Commonwealth Games that Street Fighter was another game that was interesting. We just need to be sure that we're not going against our red line that is about youth violence.
We're not going to see Candy Crush at the Olympics.
Maybe in the free-to-play zone we can add something for you, Raspberry.
So look, in the early 80s, I was really good at Pong. Yeah. Right? So if you get Pong in, I could be an Olympic champion. My mum would be proud. And,
no, not in the competition, but
it's kind of sport. It's sport.
Yeah, it's sports. It could be sports. You can do physical with virtual reality maybe, and some. But I think for us, the only line that we will not cross is about glorified violence. When you will have some games, and I know that people in the sports community and the gaming community has a different point of view with that, because for them the values are different. But for us, regarding the games like Counter-Strike, Call of Duty, these games will not and never be included into our Olympic esports competition, because it's not really going aligned with our Olympic values. But the idea for us is trying to find games where we can adapt and reflect these Olympic values and the values of Olympism to be sure that we can connect with these people.
Fantastic. Well, we've got a big red flashing light there, unfortunately, so we're out of time. But ladies and gentlemen, please say thank you to Vincent from IOC.